name is Obi Ibekwe, and I'm delighted to be your moderator for today's panel discussion on the topic, fostering sustainable impacts in FinTech, e-government, and emerging technologies. FinTech in Nigeria has witnessed rapid growth from just a handful of companies in the early 2000s to about 250 in 2021, supporting quite a number of financial products. They're also attracting significant investments, foreign direct investments into Nigeria. The impact of technology has been accelerated by the COVID-19 experience, and as pointed out by the president of FinTech Nigeria, Mr. Bajomo, in his speech, 65% of the world's GDP will be digitalized in the next 2 years. That's significant. That is significant. And the issue we will be examining this morning is, one, how sustainable is this growth that we've experienced in FinTech in Nigeria? How sustainable is it? It's been rapid, yes, but how sustainable is it? Are we putting structures in place, such as skills building, research capabilities, solutions and manufacturing capabilities to sustain it long term? We'll find out. Again, how impactful has technology been beyond the financial space? For instance, how has it impacted governance, healthcare, education, transport, agriculture? We see what is happening in other jurisdictions and how is Nigeria keeping a pace with the world in this regard. And finally, how are we positioning in Nigeria and Africa as a whole, come to think of it? As Mr. Bajomo put it, it really struck me when he said it, that we need to be major contributors to the global technology force and not just consumers or fringe participants, solving our own problems and enriching the global ecosystem. We don't want to be recipients perpetually. We want to also contribute to the global ecosystem. So it promises to be a very exciting panel discussion. And I have with me today 3 distinguished panelists to help throw some light on these issues. Without further ado, please join me in welcoming, as already introduced, Henry Oro. He's representing the CEO of Zenith Bank. Niyi Toluwalokbe, he's the CEO of eTransact. Okay, and Tolulokbe Adeyinka, the FinTech Business Development Lead, MasterCard West Africa. Thank you all for honoring our invitation. So, Henry, I'll start with you. The first question goes to you. Zenith Bank PLC is today one of the biggest banks in Nigeria. How do you see your role in supporting sustainable impacts and digitalization of the financial sector in Nigeria?
Yeah, thank you, Obi, and good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's my great honor to be here representing my CEO, Ebenezer Oyango, who incidentally is one of the key speakers in a similar program happening right now at the Echo Hotel, sponsored by the Central Bank of Nigeria, talking about the e-Naira. So what that tells me is that Zenith Bank is central to the development of digitization and of digital economy in Nigeria. First and foremost, let me also congratulate the FinTech Association for this program. It's all about the narratives we want to see and hear as we develop the payment system in Nigeria. For us as a bank, we have been built on three tripods. A tripod, which is technology, people, and service. People, technology, and service. When we were founded 3 decades ago, those were the pivot that Zenith Bank was founded on, and over the years have evolved. Information technology is critical to our operations. As a matter of fact, we have pioneered a lot of things in the payment system. When you hear of payment notification, which is the LNC, we are very proud to say that Zenith Bank pioneered that system. And over the years, we have evolved. Today, you can reach Zenith Bank and transact with Zenith Bank through so many channels, omni-channels. We have agents all over the country. We have merchants. We have POSs. Over 200,000 POSs deployed, close to 100,000 agents around the Nigerian market. And we have over 3,000 ATMs in the market. And we have so many channels. The Global Pay is an engine that we have that is unique among the banking system, and we're also collaborating with other FinTechs through our Global Pay system. We have the mobile app, which is also very popular, one of the most popular apps in the payment system in Nigeria. So Zenith Bank has been a pioneer in developing technology in the payment system, and that has been one of the reasons Zenith Bank is also a significant player in the market today. But what are we doing to develop it further? We also know that the requirements are getting bigger, the complexity of transactions and the scale of transactions are getting bigger. So we are also trying to reform and transform our legacy system to prepare us for the next decade of growth, all right? So in that sense, we are more or less trying to transform the entire technology infrastructure for Zenith Bank, like a major heart transplant, right? The entire core banking, the modules around the bank, we're transforming all that. And that's a huge investment to make us agile and ready for the next phase of growth and to prepare to even scale with the FinTechs. So in that sense, I'd like to say that Zenith Bank is well positioned to support the FinTech activities in Nigeria. Zenith Bank is doing making all the investments that are necessary to make that happen. All right, and beyond the transformational growth we are carrying out, we're also doing we are trying to create a digital bank. All right, in the next couple of months, you get the announcement to hear that we are building a digital bank where it's not about the brick and mortar. We also want to build that app where our customers can reach us for payments and for collections. And that will be deployed across our subsidiaries. And that will be a strategy for us to reach out to other markets in Africa. So in that sense, we as a bank are proud of what we've done. And we're doing so much more, making the necessary investments to see that we make our services available, cheap, and affordable to our customers. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Henry. Where no doubt Zenith Bank is a leading bank in leveraging technology for efficient, improved financial services. Now we move on to Mr. Tolu Alokwe, eTransact. Okay, great. eTransact is one of the foremost fintechs in Nigeria.
Absolutely.
Dating back to the early 2000s. How do you see your role in supporting sustainable impact in the fintech ecosystem in Nigeria?
Okay, absolutely. Thank you very much. Apologies for a little lateness. I'm very happy to be here and part of this gathering today. For us at eTransact, we are pioneers in the whole fintech space, dating as far back as 2000, like you rightly mentioned. But over the years, for us, it's been a state of continuous and consistent evolution. We've seen it all. We started just right after the mobile telecoms GSM was launched in Nigeria. eTransact started the concept of mobile banking and SMS banking in this country. And we can see how that has empowered banks and banks being able to serve its various customers across the financial ecosystem space. Shortly after that, over the years, again, the concept of USSD, star 389 hash, started out of eTransact as well. And yeah, we've set the pace in the industry, and we're excited about that, which is why we're very happy when we see new things and new ideas come up into the space, you know. But how do we see things evolve so far? As a switch, we partner with banks. We enable banks to serve their customers. Now we also enable other financial institutions, other fintech institutions to do transactions and serve their last mile customer as well over time. We've also moved into financial inclusion, mobile money, pocket money. That's an eTransact product. That was the first mobile money product in the country as well. And we've built an vast agent network, an agent ecosystem over the entire country that's serving governments, even in tapping the value they see in the informal sector for IGR. So for us, like I said, we're always very happy when we see how things have evolved over time from some of the ideas and innovations we've set in place. If we look at the future of fintech, it's very exciting. You see the amount of venture capital money, amount of private equity money that's following new ideas, new products, new solutions, and new innovations in this country. We've looked at some data in the past that showed how Nigeria was going to be the biggest fintech environment on the continent. It used to be South Africa. Based on the trajectory and the growth we see, Nigeria should have superseded South Africa by now. For us, that's exciting because as a switch and a back-end processor, a core infrastructure provider in the financial services ecosystem, we have assumed the position of not just enabling banks, like I said, also enabling smaller fintechs that need to reach the last mile customer. So we see ourselves not just as a switch, not just as a fintech, but a super fintech. What does that mean? We're a fintech that's enabling other fintechs. And that's how we think the fintech industry will grow. That's what eTransact is all about now. We're ready to collaborate. We have good partners here. Zenith is a great partner of eTransact already. We know that. Just this morning, we had a call on business. So this is some of the good things we see that's defining the future of the sector. And I think if some of the news and stories I've read in the past have shown that the growth and the expansion and the productivity we're seeing in the fintech space will surpass most of the other developmental opportunities we're seeing across the continent. Why? Fintech is solving our problems in Nigeria. We have young, smart people in various hubs with very good ideas, creating solutions and products, addressing our daily lives and problems here. Those are the key things that are driving the explosion we're seeing. So for us, we're happy to have been one of the platforms to pioneer this. And, we're ready, fully capitalized, infrastructure is in place to enable other fintechs and dominate the sector as a super fintech. Cheers.
Happening in the fintech space. I particularly like that statement about being a super fintech, enabling smaller fintechs, because that is how growth and sustainable growth happens. Thank you very much for that. So I move to Mr. Adenika from MasterCard. MasterCard is a global player in the fintech ecosystem. How do you see your role in supporting sustainable impact in the fintech ecosystem globally in Nigeria and sub-Saharan Africa?
Thank you very much for that question. MasterCard, being the origin that it is, has been operating in 172 countries, supporting fintechs globally. But we probably underestimate how far we have come in the fintech industry. Globally, what we're trying to do is to displace cash, basically to ensure that commerce takes place as it should. And when commerce takes place as it should, there is speed, there is efficiency, and it impacts on the economy. MasterCard provides the technology that supports the various enablers in the market to ensure that they're able to provide the support that the economies across geographies need to support their the different populations in those countries. When we speak about financial inclusion in particular, we realize that in Africa, for instance, there are over 750 million adults that are bankable. But out of this, only 400 million thereabouts have bank accounts. And you can see that out of that 400 million, maybe just about 150 to 200 million have wallets and they don't have real bank accounts. So there's huge opportunity which MasterCard is innovating with other fintechs. And what we have been doing is to support innovators in the market who have the knowledge, the local knowledge of how the consumers what the consumers want, and what they want to see in the market. So what we do basically is to work with them, provide the platforms that they require, and the support and investment, bringing our global knowledge, because of course we operate in 172 countries. So over the years, we have garnered a lot of knowledge around the world to be able to bring solutions to people in their various geographies. And let me also put some context to it. Today, you go on a website, you are purchasing something, and you find that you are able to pay. And if, for instance, that was not available, and you had to order something, for instance, from Abuja, and you are in Lagos, we underestimate what happens when you have to move that cash all the way from Lagos to Abuja, and then you have to come back with your goods and services back to Lagos. This probably will take you 2 weeks, 3 weeks. But what the technology has done is to provide the basic technology for you to be able to transact without you even knowing, for you to pay as a consumer, for you to accept payments as an SME, as a business, and for you to be able to send goods and services across board through logistics platforms. So what MasterCard has done is to invest in so much of technology, in cyber and intelligence, in artificial intelligence, of course, and in different payment capabilities that empowers different people to make payments across the globe. So today we see that we are improving in financial inclusion in Africa, and we are investing in a lot of fintechs, and that is definitely going to continue. We're also seeing how we are working with governments across the different continents, particularly in Africa, working with different governments to help them provide solutions that meet the market needs. For instance, we see that in various jurisdictions, there are different laws that apply to how they want to operate in those countries. What MasterCard does is to enable that market, to support fintechs and guide them to ensure they abide by the rules and regulations of those jurisdictions where they operate. Because we understand what the governments in different countries, what they want to achieve, what we do is to ensure that these innovators, when probably they want to start, and they provide the direction that they require to ensure that they innovate right and they innovate responsibly. That is one of the things MasterCard is doing in the market.
Very much, Mr. Deynka. That was very interesting, giving us that global perspective. And I connected to the example about the being able to purchase stuff online, because that's how we survived COVID-19. So that technology definitely has changed all our lives and been accelerated by the pandemic. So, gentlemen, please, our time is going. I would please ask you to be brief with your next responses to the next questions. Okay, so moving on. Henry, I'm coming back to you. And this time, I would like to, we've talked about all the exciting things that are happening, the growth, etc. But as Mr. Adejomo said in his address, if digital transformation does not impact the wider ecosystem, then it's not, as useful as we would like it to be. So this next round of questions is looking at how we've taken technology beyond the financial space. So for Zenith, we'd like to know, what should we expect from Zenith in the next 5 years is sort of a prediction of what it would contribute towards supporting e-government initiatives and insight into Zenith Bank foray into emerging technologies such as cloud adoption. What can we expect from Zenith in the next 5 years in this regard?
All right, thank you for that question. We all agree from the first round of discussions we've had that digitalization is an enabler to e-commerce. So if digitalization has to make impact, we have to take it across the various economy, the various industry, the various across the society as a whole. And for us, what we have done in that respect is to see that we take digitalization to the SMEs. Today we have a program that we are projecting, which is Grow My Business. The SMA also Grow My Business, the Hustle Academy, in collaboration with Google. What we do is to reach out to the SMEs and train them on how to use the internet, how to use the digital channels to grow their business. And that is getting a lot of followership and making a lot of progress in that respect. We're also looking at how we can also empower the students, you know, the upcoming students. We go to the universities, identify those in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, and give them training in computing, and also mentor them and follow them through through their academic work. And once they are done, we also find a way to train them beyond that and make them ready for the industry, and also use that as a feeder pipe for our own bank. So in that respect, we believe that Zenith is making a lot of contribution on how to grow on the FinTech area. Now, talking about cloud and AI and all that, it's an emerging technology and all that. What does cloud seem to achieve? Cloud seems to bring agility, speed, and capacity. You know, these days we have banks and companies building their own infrastructure and replicating that. That is pretty expensive when we have infrastructure in the cloud. So the cloud technology is something that sooner than later everyone has to embrace. And today, Zenith is building its own private cloud, and we're also on the public cloud. People speak about security and data privacy and all that. I believe the cloud technology is taking care of all that, right? So for us at Zenith, we have a private cloud we're working on, and we're also working on Azure, which is the Microsoft cloud. And we do that because, like I said, it promotes scalability, promotes portability, and of course, it also reduces downtime. So the cloud technology is something we embrace and something we're investing in, and it's something we also want to use to drive our business moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Henry. Neve, so what should we expect from eTransact in the next 5 years? Again, it's like Zenith has, give us a prediction of what the FinTech ecosystem will look like. Insight into eTransact foray into emerging technologies such as blockchain technology. How will this support or trigger e-government initiatives?
Absolutely. Thanks. So, just following up on what I said a few minutes ago regarding positioning as an enabler. This is why we've taken that initiative. We are seeing a lot of new ideas, new products and services coming up that need the infrastructure and the backbone to be able to meet and reach their last mile customers. And a lot of this, because the FinTech industry in Nigeria is regulated, and there are certain criteria you need to have to be able to build certain capabilities, and you need licenses for that. Unfortunately, not everybody has the capital resource or even the networks to build those capabilities and get those licenses. So what you're seeing is a lot more specialized focus on building solutions and then looking for partnerships and collaboration to do the necessary integration and consummate transactions across the globe. At the end of the day, what do we really need in terms of consummating transactions? You need partners that can help you move money from A to B. Call it any kind of solution, call it any kind of product. You need to connect so that individuals that are using that service can actually do the consummation. So we've seen a lot of that growth, and you all can see the funding that is coming into this part of the world to drive a lot of those solutions and services. So what's going to help is that enabler that's going to help facilitate all the ideology, innovation, ideas, and processes to help those type of solutions grow. Now, you see what's happening a lot in government. Historically, it was all about IGR. That's how government, state governments, federal government make money. We also saw what happened with the TSA, digitizing connections, digitizing collections and payments of government transactions and government expenditure. Now, that also has happened in the States, but people need growth. Nigeria needs to make a lot of money. We need to look internally as to how we can drive that. So eTransact has partnered with a lot of state governments looking into their informal sector. How do you drive and digitize what happens in the informal sector so that government can understand how to identify, capture, track, and understand how people operate in there, and also we have developed solutions that allows them to digitize and automate collections in the various cluster groups across local governments, across states, across the entire country. For us, that's driving a lot of digitization happening currently across the state governments, and it's helping to increase revenue for state governments, and it's helping all the states understand how to drive transactions from the untapped areas within their state. So for us, over the next couple of years, as more ideas, more money come into this space, I'm going to see. I'm anticipating consolidation at some point. Where people are going to need to merge. You're going to see a lot of mergers and acquisitions in this space. And trust eTransact, we're out there looking for very good apples to apples companies we can partner, collaborate, or even acquire, and further diversify the entire system and dominate the market as a super fintech. Thank you.